Hi, I'm Doug from Pivogo, and I'm here again with Victoria on the second week of S2DS. Hi, Victoria.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, it is a tough course.
Yeah, making your way through. I'm really looking forward to hearing how it's going. And to that end, it'd be great to hear about how it's been meeting your team completely virtually with no kind of face-to-face and how you found that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I don't think that it's necessary to be in the same room to discuss something. So it is actually quite easy. Like the SDGS team has done a lot of work, I can tell. You know, that has gone into setting up the Slack and all these channels, and it is really flowing very naturally. And the teamwork, I don't think that it is hindered by the fact that we're not meeting face to face. So far it's cool. Of course, so in terms of work, I don't think there is much difference. In terms of the socializing aspect of it, it would be really nice to meet other people from other teams, and so the residential program, that bit, I don't think can be replaced or done virtually.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think I agree with kind of Pivogo in terms of the company as a whole. It's that social aspect that I miss in terms of like functioning.
Yeah.
You can do it really well, but it's that
Yeah,
social aspect
there
really.
there have been attempts, at this kind of speed networking events, and there are events, so we do know of each other,
Yeah,
but it is very difficult to replace the social interaction face to face.
yeah. That's going to be whoever cracks that is onto a winner for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the lectures that have been covered on the program, do you feel like you've learned a lot from them and perhaps as much from your other team members as well? How-
Yes, I think that it is really diverse in terms of backgrounds and expertise, and some people are really really good at coding, whereas others not so much, and some people have like an insight and they have done lots of like looking into what data science is and how it works, whereas other people are surprised by the fact how it works in practice. And so it is really diverse, and yeah, nobody knows everything.
Brilliant. And how's the data you're working with? Have you guys had to do much kind of engineering and cleaning and
It
preparation?
is. It is a really challenging project. So it's not, obviously, I would say that, but our technical mentors agree on that. Um, the data is very little, so it's text data. It's a natural language processing project, and based on quite a few documents, so there's not a wealth of information. So based on a certain amount of documents, we should be able to predict a really nuanced differences. So it is really challenging to get our heads around it.
Interesting because I think one of the biggest challenges that I've had come across is that sometimes the data is just either really poor quality or there's not enough of it, and that can be such a big blocker in a lot of
Yeah,
data science
yeah.
projects.
Yes, uh,
Interesting.
and the quantity is also an issue, whether it is even possible to assemble that many documents that would be informative. But also that is a philosophical question that really interests me, is that which is something that is obvious to the human eye, whether this belongs to category A or B, is not necessarily obvious to machine learning algorithm, and like to predict these nuanced differences that in legal text that a lawyer would be able to detect that this is a different topic, but would the algorithm be able to detect that? And really the challenges, the boundaries of how far we can go with this, it is
Yeah.
really interesting.
I also find it really interesting along those lines of things like, let's say, PDFs. Logic would have it that the document type wouldn't matter so much, but if it's PDF, it makes everything so much harder the way it's
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
structured
So
and the
there is
whole.
that kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's messy,
yeah,
and whether it's PDF or HTML or straight from the net or
yeah,
some other source. And so there is that. And obviously we have to build a code that will work on anything, because if they run it on a different type of text, or that it should still run. So we have to kind of generalize it in the sense that they are able to reuse it in the future. but really what interests me the most is this translation of words or of language into numbers, because you're basically either isolating the words and then you lose the kind of syntactic or semantic information, or there are more complex procedures when you're looking for kind of interrelated words. And it is really, really interesting, just the wealth of information that we convey with language to then be condensed into zeros and ones.
Yeah, yes, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
It is
It's
fascinating.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I guess following on from things that are amazing, but things that are amazing are often really hard. And what's been the most challenging part? What's been the hardest part so far? Obviously, it's 1 week in, but
yeah. So actually, I have never worked with language data before. I studied linguistics in the past at university, but so I had always been interested, but I never done that. So in my PhD, it was only numbers. So I have heard about these processes, but to actually try it out and write immediately in deep water, so that you have to deliver a real life project is really tough. And then the other side of things is that before you start working with something, you don't know what can and cannot be achieved. And just as day by day, as we're getting deeper into the project, we see that we may not be able to deliver what was required. And it is challenging and interesting to manage the company's expectations and to actually explain and demonstrate and prove that we tried and the script is working, but just this information is not there. And I think it is almost the most interesting part of the data scientist's job, is to decide whether this question is even answerable or not.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, communicating with the client and kind of maintaining the role of their trusted advisor or specialist advisor in that area, being like, well, this is what we're trying, this is where we are, but let's be realistic and pragmatic and like upfront and clear and open about what is possible and what we have. But I really look forward to seeing how it progresses and how.
I will tell you about it next week.
But brilliant. Like I said, I really look forward to hearing it, and I hope you have another great week. We'll catch up same time next week, if okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Thanks, Victoria.
See you next week.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.